Well, it's New Year's Day. Rang in the New Year. I traveled around last night.
I did not.
Went down to Front Street, a little open house art gallery kind of thing. A friend of mine.
You have friends?
Well, yeah, he's a longtime friend, very good friend, Michael Elsass, and
painter of metal,
painter of rusted metal. He's kind of changing things up, but he's a wonderful ambassador for Dayton. Loves the place and is trying to get things going on. He's
putting his money where his mouth is too,
and everything he always touched was turned to gold. But he's a great guy, and he's into the horse racing. He qualified to go to Vegas for the national championship, $500,000 prize. That's kind of an interesting thing. We've had some really great gamblers out of this town.
Gamblers?
Yeah.
That's funny because we don't have any gamblers running this town.
Well, there used to be a lot of gambling dens that used to be around here, and a lot of people cut their teeth doing that kind of stuff.
We have politicians that stay pretty much straight and true and do exactly what they're told.
Well,
no gambling at all.
Well, they don't have any brains. Gamblers have brains.
Or risk.
No, they're risk averse.
Risk averse.
So we did that. What did you do?
What did I do? I went to a party for a while, and then I went home before the gunfire.
Oh, yes, you have gunfire around here.
I really don't like New Year's in Dayton.
Are you afraid of guns?
I'm not afraid of guns, but if people are going to have guns, I think we should be shooting back.
Oh.
This is not Baghdad, folks.
Oh, well, people celebrate. They celebrate.
It's a dangerous thing to do.
Well, after my little soiree, I went down to Pacia.
Is that it?
I had to drink
Pacia
there.
No more?
I thought they were going to redo it, but my understanding is Pacia is... And I was glad to have my last, Tanqueray 10 martini up of blue cheese olives from Mike and Zach and the boys.
Okay.
And apparently they were handing out the checks. I think it's done. That was the rumor I heard later after I hit the hay at 7 o'clock, went to bed, woke up at 9:30.
I helped open that restaurant a number of years back, and when it opened, it was the place.
Was Glenn the proprietor?
Glenn was the proprietor.
Glenn is now the proprietor out at Spinoza's. Which
is at the Fairfield Commons Mall.
Yes, and they had a bash. They rang in the Rome New Year.
Oh yeah. That was early.
7 p.m. Yes. Well, they closed the mall.
Yes.
And then I headed out to McCity, old Suzuki land, the Greene, as I call it. McCity. It's not a real city.
McCity.
McCity, like McDonald.
Like McMansions.
Yeah, yes.
The Greene.
Yes. Oh! I did go to the Greene.
Sorry. It really reminds me of Universal Studios. You go to Universal Studios and they have these, all of a sudden you're in the Old West, or you're in New York, or it's really like that, only it's only one city, and it's basically Pleasantville.
Well, it's Pleasantville, and it makes ship-ins from Wright-Patterson feel pleasant, because it's the same. Every military, major military installation has one of these like faux cardboard cities.
Well, we like that.
Yeah, because it tastes the same. You get off in Pentagon City at the yellow line down in Washington D.C. You walk up and you see the same crap. So I ran into a couple of Dayton military brats. They were in town from Long Island and
they had gravitated out to the Greene, even though it wasn't here when they grew up.
No, it wasn't here when they grew up. And as they said, it made them feel good, and that's where people go. And I go, what do you think about Dayton? Of course, they hate Dayton. So Dayton is not doing a good job with its military ship-ins. Get a clue.
Yeah, even one thing,
these people,
all the military installations,
they're going around and saying, we hate this place.
All the military installations I went to when I was in the service, there was one thing that we noticed was that the community really didn't like GIs. At least that was the way outside of Fort Dix. That was the way it was outside of Fort Bragg.
But your Army pukes. Air Force is different.
But I got to tell you, Columbus, Georgia, outside Fort Benning, they respected their soldiers and they treated them nice. And I always have a soft spot in my heart for Columbus, Georgia. And I really wonder about how we treat the Air Force. It's a little different with Air Force because there's a lot more officers than enlisted, which means a lot more college educated, a lot more, they're sort of like us sort of thing.
Yeah, but there are marketers. It's exactly what happened to NCR. NCR, as a corporate entity, saw the handwriting, recognized that people hate this town. There's nothing to do, even though everybody
we have great self-loathing for this town, and big part of it, comes from the way we portray ourselves in the media.
Well, it's a big part of it's because we don't really have a city. It's barren and empty. We have no panache.
Well, we can get
which
the
is
panache
what
back.
Mr. Elsass wants to do. It's what we want to do.
Yeah,
In
well,
the end,
we are panache.
yeah. Well, it just really depresses me. I mean, eventually, Wright Patterson will go with NCR because of how everybody's going to view it. All the officers, all the military. Eventually, that'll be a pervasive view of Dayton, and nobody's doing anything to change it. Sorry.
Well, people are trying to do things to change it.
Well, they think they're doing things to change it.
But we're not really affecting real change.
No, well, we're doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
That's what happens at New Year's every year. Every year, people make resolutions and then break them.
Well, that's human nature. But human nature doesn't mean we have to keep up doing what we're doing. I mean, I tell people I'm an ambassador for Dayton. Nobody really thinks that's true. But when I hear the data coming back at me, we aren't doing anything right. I just over the last 40 years, we haven't done anything right. So
yeah. I
get a clue.
I moved into South Park 23 years ago, and I got to tell you, South Park's been doing it right. So we got one thing going.
Well, is that reason that you came in? I don't think it's all
not that I came in. It's this community.
Right.
We got
it's a great community.
It is.
All right, I've had enough to say.
Same here.
All right, have
See
a good day.